Hello, I'm Sean Lean. I'm the President of the Legislative Council in the Victorian Parliament, and I'm here to give an update of this week's sitting. This week there was 3 pieces of legislation passed through this particular chamber. The first one I want to speak about is the Justice Legislation Amendment Anti-Vilification and Social Cohesion Bill. This bill replaces the Racial and Religious Tolerance Act and moves serious vilification offences into the Crime Act and civil anti-vilification protections into the Equal Opportunity Act. It expands anti-vilification protections, introduces new serious criminal vilification offences and makes a number of relative changes, including to expand the anti-vilification protections to protect people with disability, gender identity, sex characteristics, sexual orientation and personal association with a person with those particular types of attributes. This bill passed, it was amended. The debate on this particular piece of legislation started sometime Tuesday afternoon and finished at 4 a.m. on Wednesday. All bills are very serious, but sometimes the members of Parliament really want to analyse and have a lot of conversation in a long committee stage on certain pieces of legislation, and this was one of them. Another piece of legislation that passed was the Safe Patient Care Nurse to Midwife patient ratios amendment bill, which amends the 2015 Act regarding the rounding method used when determining staff requirements in intensive and coronary care, emergency and high dependency units, provides ratios concerning night shift in postnatal wards and intensive care units, and updates the hospital according to categories which are specified in the Act. This particular bill passed without amendment, despite having quite a long committee stage where MPs examined a lot of the clauses within that piece of legislation. The third piece of legislation that was passed was the Help to Buy Commonwealth Powers Bill, and this provides the necessary legislation powers to establish and administer the Commonwealth Help to Buy shared equity scheme in Victoria through the Commonwealth Agency Housing Australia. The scheme provides low to middle income earners to purchase residential properties with a financial contribution from the Parliament, and this particular bill passed through no great committee stage or amendment. Other items that were debated in this House other than pieces of legislation were issues around energy, air purifiers in schools, activity centres, rail lines and the defence industry. And there was also a petition that was debated saving civil lease from coastal erosion. So the members spent their time really well during this week's sitting. Events outside these chambers, I love to speak about it. It's great to have so many people in Parliament House and in the precinct during a sitting week. 2 sporting clubs had separate events. Melbourne Storm had an event and Melbourne Vixen had an event where they invite MPs to learn about the good work they do for their sport and the community. Melbourne Storm launched a Storm Waka community program which is supported by the Victorian Education Department, and the program is a school holiday initiative supporting young people from Pacifica backgrounds to engage with Maori and Pacific Island culture and develop important life skills. So it was great to have both of those sporting entities in the Parliament. And in Queen's Hall there was a Indian folk art exhibition, and it's a non-profit organisation that was sponsoring it. So there's always some varied events in Parliament. We really welcome all communities to show some interest if they would like to come into Parliament during the sitting week and show their show what they're doing, good work they're doing with the community. We really enjoy it and we really appreciate it. Next sitting week, amongst other pieces of legislation, depending on what gets programmed, bills that could be debated that came from the Assembly, were passed in the Assembly and came to our chamber late this week was the Building Legislation Amendment Buyers Protection Bill, Transport Legislation Amendment, Vehicle Sharing Scheme Safety and Standards Bill, Victorian Energy Efficiency Target Amendment, Energy Upgrade for the Future Bill, and I will let you know about how those pieces of legislation have gone through this chamber, and of course other pieces of legislation that are already on our notice paper when I see you, when I give you the next update.